Sports. Welcome to the Bottom Line with U of M great and former NFL star Braylon Edwards and Ryan Ermanni. Sit back and let's talk some Detroit sports right now on the Bottom Line.
And here we go. It is Wednesday, August 3rd, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards, Bottom Line, Woodward Sports Network. You can't look. I
Turn the volume down.
I sit in the DMAC chair. And
there's a lot going on over there.
The DMAC chair, I don't think DMAC turns the computer down. I don't know if DMAC turns the computer on.
I was just about to say, that might be the better question. Is it even on?
Braylon, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon to you, my friend, as well. You know, I've been talking a lot about Mike Tyson, so I was gifted a shirt. Has my boy Mike Tyson on it. Shout out to Ryan, appreciate you for that. Guess what? Everybody's got a plan till you get hit in the mouth. So that's why my plan is to not get hit in the mouth.
You know, the funny thing about that shirt is it just forces the individual who sees the shirt to start
reminiscing,
talking about Tyson in Tyson language, the way he says things, the quotes. I want to rip his heart out and eat his children.
You gotta get the list. You gotta get the list.
And you have a great Mike Tyson impersonation.
It's nostalgic. You know, he's great. He's Ali. He's great. You know, none of us afraid of the champ. He's the real champ. He's the champ.
Is there a better gem in American history than the great Mike Tyson?
There is not.
There is not. Sam Day, Stick himself.
Hello.
Sitting in the Maz chair today. How you doing,
Maz?
Stick?
Hey, gang. Stick.
So Stick has been playing the role of Maz this week too, and doing a great job.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you.
And Braylon, he's been doing a role of everything and everybody.
Oh yeah, I did play Braylon
He
on
played
Monday.
100%.
And Sam yesterday.
Hey, Sam yesterday.
Hey, Fletch, you want tomorrow off?
You're next, Fletch. Don't go anywhere, Fletch. He has literally had every role on the show this week.
He did. Ryan last week. He does it all here. Whatever needs to be done, whether it's the screens, whether it's whatever, my man Stick will make sure it's ready.
I am Don Kelly of Woodward Sports.
The Don Kelly. Guys, great show for you today. If you are watching on YouTube, thanks so much. Go ahead and hit that like button for us. Subscribe to Woodward Sports. We are less than 400 subscribers away from the 30,000 milestone. Looking forward to get to that number and beyond. But a great show for you today, Braylon, on this Wednesday. Plenty of Lions talk. We'll talk to our Lions Woodward Sports beat reporter, Kory Woods, coming up at the top of hour number 2. Want to dip back into some NFL topics. The NFL, Braylon, still has not responded to the suspension of Deshaun Watson. They have until 9 a.m. tomorrow to do that. Do you anticipate, we can talk about this later on in the show, do you anticipate that the NFL will respond here?
No, I don't. I don't think that they will respond. I think they will keep it at 6 games. They went to arbitration. They went and let the things play out in court in Texas earlier this year. I think at this point they're trying to get the situation over with. Whether it's the right or wrong decision, that remains to see how things shake out. But it's the right decision for the NFL if you're trying to move on for it. We had to deal with it all of last year. What's going on with Deshaun Watson? Do we know anything with Deshaun Watson? What's going on? Oh, another person came forward. Another person came forward. What's the Texas involvement with it? Then we get to the offseason. Now they go to court. Now they find out they find him not guilty in both court of laws. Now you get to that process. Now you see HBO, like we talked about yesterday. It's just been drug out, and I think the NFL is tired of it. They're over it. They're going to say, hey, look, we went to an outside source. Outside source gave us 6 games. We'll stick with that. We'll trust her, because here it is. If you want to bring in another arbitrator for another situation, or the next time you bring in an arbitrator, the arbitrator is going to say, well, look, you didn't listen to the last arbitrator, so why would I in turn try to do arbitration for you? So you just got to let that decision stay.
It is funny, in both of the NFL suspensions that have been levied this week with Deshaun Watson, and then with the Dolphins being stripped of a couple of draft picks, a first-round pick, a fine, and their owner being suspended through October 17th. The court of public opinion in both cases has gone against the NFL here, seemingly 0 for 2.
Yeah, seemingly 0 for 2. They've gone against the NFL, and NFL is always going to have decisions to make. At the beginning of the year, during the middle of the year, and the offseason, it's always seeming like they're going to have a decision. And it doesn't matter the decision the NFL makes. Somebody's not going to like the decision. If they announce that, hey, Deshaun, a year, there'd be a ton of people that would be pissed at that. They announced they allow the arbitrator's word to go forward. Sue, I think her name was Sue, with 6 games. Somebody's going to be mad. Somebody's mad about a bunch of it. We can get to some other ones, but they're mad about Stephen Ross as well, and that's something I want to talk about. The way the NFL dances, I mean, you should be used to it by now.
And speaking of the NFL, we're going to get into a lot of Lions talk today, Braylon. The first and foremost, the good news with this football team, and that is that Quintez Cephus, it does not appear to be serious. Dan Campbell said at his press conference earlier today he's going to be okay. Very optimistic. Also, a couple of the injuries that we touched on yesterday as well. Levi Onwuzurike and TJ Hawkinson, nothing big with them. They just sat yesterday and were away and not doing the high contact drills.
And also
trying to be smart.
McNeil, right?
Aleem McNeil, too. So, I mean, all's good right now.
Yeah.
Very key to the Lions' success. No doubt about it, Sam.
That's a damn good one right there, Sam. Yeah, and that's what you said. You talked about it. Right now, for this team to build some cohesion, for this team to build some chemistry, this is the first time that this team, as a whole, as it lays out now, they're all together. They're all getting ready for the purpose that is this upcoming 2022 season. So keeping them healthy will give the Lions the best chance for us to see and really assess where they are through the draft. How good is it the decisions that he made to go or keep a lot of the individuals from the 3-13-1 season last year? You got to have everybody together to really, really gauge that. And if they're not together, then it's unfair to Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes.
And Braylon, as it relates to the Detroit Lions, too, you know, I think it was Dave Burkett who asked the question today about the Lions' offensive line yesterday. You know, they're in pads, they're banging. Dan Campbell talked about how great that offensive line looked yesterday. They did not play one snap of the season last year where all 5 projected starters were in the game together. Now, they have not gotten to the preseason yet, let alone the regular season yet, so there still is some time for that. But how important, and you can ask this question to every NFL team in the league, the importance of health, to come out of camp with the health of your starters intact. That is the key to the Lions season for me, is if these guys can stay healthy, because right now I do believe they have the talent to make some way here, get some wins this season if they stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, keeping everybody together and everyone playing together, that way you learn each other. You learn the man to your right, you learn the man to your left, and also you learn the man that's 2, 3, 4 men down from you. It's kind of like the Brooklyn Nets last year. Their projected stars really never started together. And you saw when they were trying to patchwork it in there and get guys in there, it just never fit. I'll give you a better one in the NFL. Last year, the Dallas Cowboys, you saw how good they could be early on in the year. You saw what they were supposed to be. You saw what they were when Dak Prescott lined up and got things done. They had the best offensive line going into the season last year. They never played together. Lionel Collins is hurt. Tyron Smith waited the whole year because he was hurt. Then Lionel Collins came back. They never were able to have the cohesion, and you saw the running game suffer for it. And then you saw later on in the season, due to injury, you saw the wide receiver game suffer in the passing yards of Dak Prescott. This year, with the Detroit Lions having everybody on board, Vitae, you got Jackson on board, you got Frank Ragnow, you got Panay, and then you have Taylor Decker. That is a mean offensive line. That is an offensive line that can do some damage, especially when you're going to go with a running attack with a DeAndre Smith or Jamal Williams, and now you set up the pass with play action. That line can be special if they all play together.
So I mentioned Stick, and I mentioned that every morning I listen to the Dan Campbell press conference. And one of my favorite things is you just get pure honesty out of this guy. Yeah. And, you know, one of the things, his eyes lit up today, says, talking about the offensive line, they can move some people. They can move some people. In the run game, in the pass game, they can protect. Yeah. This offensive line can do just about anything. And thank God he's talking like that, too, because they put an awful lot of resources into that offensive line.
Yeah, you know, we're, the highest paid offense, or 1-2 now that Kyler Murray signed that crazy contract, and that's 50% of our budget is on that offensive line. So those guys got to put in work and do their thing. But I just think it's such when great teams are great, they reflect their head coach. And Dan Campbell is a big, physical, nasty guy. And now that we got the big, physical, nasty front line, it's good to see that cohesion. You know, like you go to the Patriots. Yeah. Bill Belichick is smart. He's tactful. That's how all the players are there. Yeah. And that's how you get to be successful, when your team reflects you and embodies you. And we're seeing that with Dan Campbell. Not only attitude, you know, you heard Jamal Williams, when you get into Ford Field, we're locking the gate and you're not going to want to be in there. Like, those are dudes I don't want to step in a room with, right?
That's some real stuff, man. You talk about it, having all 5 of those guys now they're finally playing, having Dan Campbell seeing it, having Dan Campbell get excited about it. Well, you know who else that's important to? You know who else that excites? That excites Jared Goff. Because if I'm Jared Goff and I know that I have time to think about where the ball is going if it's not going to the first guy, I don't just have to throw it to the first guy or throw it out of bounds now. I can get to 1. I can get to read 2. I can get to read 3. Hell, I may be able to get to a check down in DeAndre Swift. That creates confidence. Confidence creates confidence in offensive coordinators to now call better plays, to now catch people off guard, to have people saying, whoa, that ain't the Detroit Lions, but confidence in the starts up front. Just imagine DeAndre Swift. Just remember when Emmitt Smith, how much confidence he had when he's looking at his offensive line and he's not getting touched to 7 yards down the field. Now imagine somebody that's bigger than Emmitt, faster than Emmitt, way more athletic than Emmitt, and that's DeAndre Swift. If DeAndre Swift doesn't have to look at somebody tackling him to 5 to 6 yards down the field, that's when you create home run plays from the running back position. So if that line can do what they're doing now, it just creates confidence, it creates change.
And it also creates an identity. It gives you an idea of who you are as a football team. And I never like it when an NFL team says our identity will be toughness. Because you know what that means to me? It means you have no talent.
Yeah.
No, it means you have no talent.
Yeah,
so the only thing you can do is try hard.
Right. That's kind of where I was going to go with Braylon. What he was talking about is, like, we're going to get to a point where not only are we beating up on teams physically, that's going to wear on them mentally. And, like, we're talking first quarter here, you're getting punched in the mouth by our line. By the fourth quarter, you're tired of getting punched in the mouth by the line. You're going to be a little bit more hesitant coming off that ball. You're exhausted. Like, this is something that if we build this identity, if we become like the Ravens of offense, you know how you never want to step on the field against the Ravens because you know it's going to hurt. If we become that with the Lions offensive line, I'm all in, baby.
Another place it goes, and it's for my position. We can wait till we come back. I'll save it.
I want you to pick up on that. Then another aspect of the Dan Campbell press conference that I really got today and all throughout the last couple of days. I'm going to share that for you. I want to ask you if it is creating too much optimism. We'll have that for you. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years, whether it's your home or your business. Their 24/7 local monitoring makes sure what is important to you is safe. Call that number above my head right now, 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. You see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house. What's it tell the bad guys,
Stay
Braylon?
the hell out of here, buddy.
That's right. Stay out. 1-800-STAY-OUT. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. We'll be right back. Woodward Sports.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Braylon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Dan Campbell spoke to the media earlier today. We talked about Cephus. Want to get that to you now. Here's what he said about Quintez Cephus.
I think he'll be okay. It was much more optimistic once we got him in, got an image, and looks like he'll be down for we feel like a short period of time, but I think he's going to be okay, which is good.
And that's from the horse's mouth there. And injuries, you don't want it to happen to the individual. Good for the football team, but great for the individual too.
Yeah.
Poor kid, you don't want him to go out for 2 seasons.
Yeah. So now, yeah, it's good to see that. It's good to see Quintez Cephus will be back where there's optimism. So I'm excited to see that because I'm very high on him. Like I always tell you, I've been high on him since he was at Wisconsin. But just kind of going back to what we were talking about in terms of the offensive line kind of being together, them being the strength and the anchor of the offensive side of the ball, and maybe the anchor for the whole team in general. I talked about the running game, DeAndre Swift not getting touched for 4 yards and what that creates in his mind and what that opens up for the home run. Talked about Jared Goff getting some confidence. Now he's confident that he can sit back there and not have to worry about taking the sack, not have to worry about pressure up the middle. And now he's fumbling the ball because he has small hands. You know what it also creates? Oh, you see I slid that in there?
It smells like cabbage.
Ooh, I don't know what to do with my hands. You know, the other thing that it creates is shots down the field. That's what people want to see. When I'm a wide receiver and I was playing on teams where the offensive line was trash, and trust me, I played with the Browns, so I saw some trash offensive lines, or I saw some bad quarterbacks. Or you see quarterbacks that may be okay, but they don't trust the offensive line. So they're legitimately folding super fast, or they're throwing the ball away too fast, or they're throwing it to the check down before you get a chance to let the play.
Well, you even see that happen to good quarterbacks. When is Tom Brady his least effective? When he's constantly under pressure. Look what happened to Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Why did they lose? They were on his ass.
Look what Tom Brady, look what happened.
Language.
Look what happened to Tom.
Butt. They're on a butt.
Look what happened to Tom Brady in the NFC Championship last year. But I was taking from a different perspective. Wide receivers. If I'm a wide receiver and I'm tired of running this 50-yard post route or this go route, when I know that the quarterback's getting sacked, I know the quarterback's going to be on the ground. When I turn around, look for the ball, I'm looking up here, and the quarterback's on the ground. So now what does that do to wide receivers? And it is a natural thing. It is not just some wide receivers. You start running routes all the way. You start shortening up routes. You start looking too soon because you're expecting to see the sack. And 8 times out of 10, you're correct, but those 2 times that you aren't, now the ball's over your head and it's in a perfect place because, oh, by the way, 1 out of 9 times they got the throw or they got the protection right. So it allows wide receivers to stay in the mindset the whole game that, oh, I have time to break this guy down. Why do you think Justin Jefferson's so good? Jamar Chase is damn good. But it allows you to break the defender down and take your time with it right.
Braylon, I've been waiting to ask you this since 8 o'clock this morning, actually.
Wow. Dan Campbell.
It is in regards to Dan Campbell. He said today, and I'm paraphrasing right now, I love where this team is. Offensively, defensively, schematically, I love where we are right now. And I can't remember a football coach talking so glowingly about his team this early in training camp. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? If it's accurate, should we raise our level of expectation? Is he giving the team confidence or could it be something else? Or are these guys just that good right now?
I think we should keep our level of expectation where we have it. Like if you guys have it around the 7 to 10 thing, and we'll get to talking later, I got it around the 7 to 10 thing. If that's where your expectation is, leave it there. But the reason why you see the change in Dan Campbell is because when he was in training camp last year, he didn't see this out of this team. He knew he was in for an uphill fight the whole way. He knew this was going to be an interesting team. He knew it was going to be a struggle. He talked about it last year. He said, hey, we'll be good in 3 years. He talked about it last year. So for him to see his team go from 3-13-1, to see the moves that they made in the offseason, see the moves they made in the draft, to see the cohesion the guys brought together, see how they're kicking it, how they're bonding together. They're all over the country working out together. And he sees it changing before his very eyes. And he's excited. He has every right to be because this ain't the team from last year. This isn't the team where you thought they may go 0-17. Then you really thought they were going 1-16 for sure. He's looking at his team and he's saying, I see the future. I see that this is going to be a good year. So he has every right to feel that way, but we got to still keep it intact and keep it in focus. Don't think we're going 12 wins. Leave it at 7 and you won't be disappointed.
But I think we're going to see a different Dan Campbell because of that, though. Yeah. Like last year, it was throw caution to the wind. I'm not going to win with these guys anyway, so let's go for it almost every 4th down. Let's run the trick plays. Let's try to be deceptive. This year, I think he's going to be more authoritative in his play calling. Like, hey, we know what we have. Let's just march forward on these guys. So, I like to equate it to, like last year was the girl you want to have fun with. You're not going to have a future with her, but it's like, let's try everything. Yeah. This year, this is the girl he may want to marry. So this is like, let's settle down. Let's get things right.
My level of optimism, is what it is. And I've been talking about it for the last couple of months. But because of what he's saying, I do feel validated in my expectation for the team because of how good they look in pajamas, how good they look in their first workout. It does feel so good to like what they're seeing so far in Allen Park.
Of course I would like what I see. I got the best offensive line that money can buy going against an average defensive line. At least that's what the stats told me last year. So, of course, they're going to look good. I now have a quarterback that's been to the Super Bowl who's starting to remember that he has been to the Super Bowl and acting like it once again. I got receivers I see on the defensive side. When you walk into a training camp or a season or a game, and all you can get out of a playbook is this. When your playbook is this thin, because you know you don't have time to pass the ball, because you know you're not going to be able. Well, they ran the ball decently. You know you don't have that many playmakers on defense. You know you can't go man to man for 5 seconds because your secondary won't allow it. You know you're not getting the pressure on the quarterback. That's tough. That is a tough feeling. So you act accordingly, like my man Stick said. But when you walk into training camp, and you know you can walk into a game, and your playbook is this thick, you're like, okay, cool. Who we got? We got Philly. All right, it's going to be a tough team, but I see us being able to stretch this guy out. Right. We can add some little nuances and some wrinkles, as they like to call it, for T.J. Hockenson. Oh, don't forget about DJ Sharp. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make – they have ways in which they can move the ball now. They have creativity going right now. So it's a great time for him thinking about where he came from last year.
And I love this comment in the chat right now by Jeff Ormsby. It says, he says he likes where they are. That doesn't mean he's satisfied where they are.
Sure.
And I think that's an important note to make, though.
Sure.
And that's why I said keep your expectations where they are, 7 and 10. Yeah.
First of all, he said he loves where they are, not likes where they are. He said he loves where they are. And second of all, I can't think of a coach that the first week, second week of training camp doesn't say, boy, we got a long way to go. And maybe he just didn't say those words, but he meant those words. But oh boy, we got to work on this. We got to work on that. I don't know about this. I don't know about that. Year? No, just any football coach. I'm thinking about if who's the coach in New England? I'm having a brain fart. Bill Belichick. I'm thinking about Bill Belichick. If Bill Belichick would ever come into a press conference and say, "Oh, I love where this team is right now. Week 1 of training camp." I don't think he does that after the Super Bowl.
Right? It's a fair question, but it's a fair question. But you're also taking out the point where you got to pay attention to where he was last year.
Yeah.
Like when he walked into training camp last year.
Context.
It's context.
Yeah.
What the hell? That sounded like Brian Kelly on that one right there. But it's where he was last year. What he walked into that training camp looking at. He looked at that team. He looked at those guys, and I guarantee he said, "Man, if they're one of our linemen, whoop, there's our lineman." He looked at that team and he knew what he can get out of them. That's when you have those private meetings, those closed-door meetings where it's just the coaches in the room, not even the GM. Well, maybe the GM. They're the only people in the room, and they're having a real conversation. That real conversation was, this team ain't going to be that good. This team ain't going to be that good, but what we can do is we can coach them the right way, we can get after, we can learn together, and then we can try to build something for next year moving forward. And they did that. So now he's just walking in. He's seeing the same young guys last year that are in year 2 now, year 3 now, year 4 now. They're better. They're working harder. They understand the job and the mission. They came back. He watched them do everything right in the offseason. He watched them come back before it was time to come back. He watched how hard they're working when they left here together. He's like, you know what? I see the future moving forward. It's nothing like when you see something right before your eyes getting better. He's not saying they're going 12-5, but he's saying they're a lot better than we were last year.
Talking about getting better right before their eyes, Dan Campbell talked about a couple of rookies that are impressing him. You'll hear from the coach on that coming up in just a couple of seconds. Also, the linebackers. What was thought of as one of the weakest position groups on this football team, could it actually be a strength moving forward? More on what Dan Campbell said about his young linebacking core. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Gypsy Vodka.
Summertime is almost over, but the mulligan will get you a do-over. 8% alcohol, that is in the seltzer. This thing is amazing. Support Michigan Distillers. Adam and Mike from Michigan State, you got it right with this one. You already know Gypsy Vodka is the stuff of dreams. Now they've added that to a mulligan. Introducing the mulligan. Iced tea, lemonade, and mango are the flavors. You can enjoy it on the golf course or while you're barbecuing at the house, kicking your feet up, watch a little bit of Lions training camp. The Mulligan by Gypsy Vodka. But make sure, remember to always drink responsibly.
Detroit's downtown summer playground is back. Open all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway. Enjoy roller skating, free Wi-Fi, food trucks, art installations, and so much more. Don't forget to take advantage of the basketball court, putt-putt, and, of course, family programming all summer long. All art installations are done by Detroit artists, and it's a fun, safe event from people 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
I would tell you this: two guys from last year that I think really have made some to this point have made some of the biggest progress to this point is Barnes and Jefferson. Both of those guys, just attitude-wise and their demeanor and the way they, just all the little stuff, you know. It never had anything to do with the way they worked. I mean, they just didn't know what they didn't know, and they were young, and a little bit of deer in the headlights. And this year, both of those guys have really come out with, man, a different attitude, a different demeanor, more confidence, and it's.
That was Dan Campbell earlier today talking about Derek Barnes, the linebacker, and Jamar Jefferson, the running back. And you go back to Derek Barnes at linebacker. Again, Braylon, you mentioned Alex Anzalone today looking great and what he needed to improve on. We'll continue on linebackers in just a second, but first let me tell you that if you're watching on Twitter and Facebook, please, we are going to end those feeds and move you exclusively over to our YouTube channel, Woodward Sports on YouTube. Again, if you could be so kind to hit the like button and subscribe to Woodward Sports, less than 400 subscribers away from 30,000 on that platform. Back to the linebackers, Derek Barnes, Alex Anzalone, who he gave a glowing review of today, Malcolm Rodriguez. He literally named every single linebacker in the position group in the room right now in training camp is a guy that is competing for a job and that could help them in this year and years beyond. I don't know. Could that position group actually turn out to be a strength?
No, that's a cause for a pause if he's naming everybody.
He named everybody.
It could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing, but I'll take it as a good thing, and I'll say this. It could be a strength. We talked to Derek Barnes last year. We talked to him right after he had an amazing game. He came back with one that was not so good, but that was the win which the season win last year. You come back, you know more this season. They work hard. Now you got guys fighting. It's nothing like healthy competition. Nothing like guys going out there and getting it after, because it's going to make you want to get after. It's going to make you want to do a little bit more film study. Want to make you learn a little bit more about the defense. It's going to make you want to hit a little bit harder. But yes, that could be a strength. And if that is a strength, oh man. Because let me tell you about the defense. Let me tell you about the linebackers that are good in the NFL. Darius Leonard is one of the best linebackers in the NFL, arguably the best Mike linebacker. Well, the Colts are a top 10 D-line. You look at Fred Warner, arguably the best linebacker in the game. Well, guess what? The San Francisco 49ers are a top 5 D-line. Roquan Smith has been one of the best linebackers in the NFL since he came. Guess what? That Chicago front, Hakeem Hicks, who's now no longer there, but Hakeem Hicks, Robert Quinn last year, who had 18.5 sacks, and Khalil Mack. That defensive line is what leads it. So now, if you get an Aiden Hutchinson doing what he's supposed to do as a number 2 pick, if you get a Romeo Okwara coming back off injury and being a guy that can come in off the bench, if you get a Charles Harris who's now going to earn that money that they paid him in the offseason for the 7.5 sacks he had last year, see, now you get pushed at the line of scrimmage, because all those guys like Bobby Wagner, who's going to have 190 tackles a year, they have that many tackles because the guys in front of them, they get the push, they get their guys out the way. It allows the linebackers to just run free and go be tackling machines. So if you get that push up front, You don't get linemen falling forward. You get the defense pushing the line backwards. You get the running back confused on which way to go because the hole is closed. You get the quarterback stumbling and now he's fumbling. All that leads to linebackers being able to run around free and knock the hell out of somebody. So the defense line is better, so the linebackers should be better as well.
It's almost like you read my mind because I was going to ask you, knowing the answer too, but just to affirm.
It's football season, baby. I'm hyped.
It is.
Let's go.
The linebackers are every bit as what I'm trying to say is that defensive line is every bit as important to the linebacking core as the talent of the linebacker almost.
It's the reverse option. It's the same thing with a running back. They can only go unless your name is Barry Sanders, you can only go as good as your offensive line.
Right.
With the linebacker, you can only go so far as the defensive line. So we improved the defensive line this year. The Lions are a much improved defensive line. That means the linebacking core, they should be much improved because they don't have linemen getting to the second level. They don't have to worry about shedding blocks. Now you just go make tackles and make plays.
And conversely, stick too. I mean, don't forget about the defensive backs.
Right.
I mean, if you have a defensive line that can get to the quarterback, well, your defensive backs don't have to defend the receivers for 5, 6, 7 seconds.
And isn't it crazy how just like easy this game is when you actually talk about it and put it out there? Like, hey, we dominate out front. It's going to help everybody behind them on both sides of the ball. And I've been a Lions fan my entire life. 40 years, and outside of like the early 90s, they've never really focused on the offensive and defensive line like they have now. Like, we drafted Sue number 2. That was a great pick, but we've never really put it together like we have it now. Outside of the 91 team with, Lomas and those guys, and Spindler and Glover, those guys were fantastic. But for some reason, it just never could happen for us. We drafted like a Gosler Childress, never worked out. Lincoln Tomlinson never worked out for us. But these guys are all working out, and it seems like they're clicking together as a unit too.
It's like the one time that you almost got it all together. You had a bunch of young guys, and you had a bunch of inconsistency from the coaches as well as the front office. Like that 2013 and 14, or that 2000, that stretch where you get Nick Fairley out of Auburn. You get Ezekiel Anza out there who's like a wrecking ball his first year. You still had Ndamukong Suh on that team. You had Justin Johnson, I want to say. Like you had these guys, but then it was, we don't want to pay Suh. Nick Fairley couldn't seem to want to be serious and take it serious. And Ezekiel Elliott didn't have anybody to learn from.
It's like they didn't realize how they were winning.
Everybody was an individual on that team. And it worked to a certain extent because it's like, all right, if I go out there and I want to do my thing, but then it's like the money thing. Then it's like, well, this guy's getting this love, this guy's getting that. Well, they didn't keep this guy, and that's not loyalty, so I don't want to play here. It was just a complete show after that one good season. This year, it's different. Guys are making what they deserve so far. Guys are making more than that. Guys are buying in. They're young. Guys come in, and guys are turning the culture around because they finally got a coach who understands turning the culture around.
Speaking of the coach, here's more from the head coach of the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell.
We got a rookie linebacker in Rodriguez who, man, with the pads on, he showed up. His key diagnosed and coming downhill and hitting the way that, AG and Shep want those guys to hit it, and play an aggressive style. But yet he can play in coverage as well. So, listen, I love the battle that's going on there. It's early, but I like what we got in that room.
Key and diagnosed. Malcolm Rodriguez, I mean, are the expectations for him just, up here now?
Well, you're kind of thinking like an Amon-Ra St. Brown of last year, right? 4th round pick. We got Malcolm Rodriguez later in the draft. So we've seen Brad Holmes be able to pull diamonds out of the rough, and this could be one of them. I mean, the heavyweights have been on this guy since day one, and he's their guy, too. He's a cool guy. He came out to the car dealership we were at the other day, hung out, did the interview with Neil Rule at DMAC. Like, he's embracing the city. It's just awesome to see those types of guys, and Dan Campbell will empower you. Because Braylon, once you're drafted, it doesn't matter. You're on the team. It doesn't matter if you're first-round pick. Doesn't matter if you're a 6th-round pick. Doesn't matter if you're an undrafted free agent. You're on the team. You're playing for a spot.
Here you go right here. This is the year I get drafted. It's 2005. It's Cleveland Browns, okay? So they drafted 7 rounds worth of guys, and then you pick up a couple guys and undrafted rookies, free agents. You draft them, then everybody comes together in rookie camp. You meet guys, you hang out, you're cool. Then OTA starts the whole process. Insert this guy named Josh Cribbs, quarterback out of Kent State. Undrafted undrafted free agent. Kent State played quarterback, was an athlete as well, but nobody drafted small school, a mobile quarterback. We pick him up, and from the word go, I was like, he's going to make the team. And I didn't know what he was going to do, but I knew he was going to make the team. He did whatever the hell he could do to make the team. I'm talking about he'd go down on special teams. Like, that's how he made the team, which is something else we just talk about. Special teams, he worked hard in the weight room. He ran hard. Like, he was just killing me in everything we did running-wise. And then once the season started, once we started putting pads on in training camp, hitting drills, he's a quarterback, mind you.
Right.
He's a quarterback. He's hitting guys. He's tackling guys. He put them in a preseason game. One of our punt returns goes down. I can return punts too. The rest is history. But that guy put on the show. That guy said the only way I can make this team is to be special, is to do something special and to be here and be present. So guys can make this team. It doesn't matter if it's 7th round, 6th round, 5th round, no matter if it's undrafted free agent. Where's your love at? Where's the love at? And if it doesn't work here, somebody's going to pick up on that passion and pick you up. I mean, look at the guy, Slater, the special teams guy for the Patriots. He's been a special teams wide receiver for the last 12 years. He's made 8 Pro Bowls, and he's caught like 2 touchdowns in his career. He's a special teams demon. He understood the mission.
Well, look at the guy that Dan Campbell referenced earlier today, Jamar Jefferson.
Yeah.
What is he, a 7th round pick?
Yeah. And he should have gone a lot higher than that. I mean, a zone running back, he was probably one of the best zone running backs to come out last year. Once he puts that right foot in the ground and makes that cut, he's special.
So, again, it doesn't matter where you're picked. Once you get the opportunity, that's what do you make the most of it? Do you make the most of it, or do you curl up like a ball and go down in a sewer or something like that?
The other thing, too, is you got to be open to the special team side of things. Like, you just have to be. And that's what gets guys cut a lot of times. Sometimes where the coaches, when they're making these decisions stick, and they're like, man, this guy is killing it. This guy is killing it. This guy's a little bit better than him. But you know what? This guy's a little bit better. But this guy doesn't play special teams.
Right.
This guy is just a little bit not as good as him. But he does play special teams, and maybe he can work to get better. So
Vince
special
Papale.
teams.
Haven't you ever seen
right.
Invincible, man?
There you
Special
go.
teams is crucial.
Guys, the chat is on fire today. One of the comments that I saw a minute ago that really kind of spurns the discussion for me, Andy Carso says, I can't get enough of MCDC. I think for a lot of Lions fans, we cannot get enough of Dan Campbell. As a player, how important is it to want to run through a wall for your coach? How important is it to respect your coach, want to play for that coach? The only person that's ever done that is this guy. So I'll ask you that next, Braylon.
Yeah.
How important is it to love your coach? I think these players love the coach. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Academy.
Academy of Warren is currently enrolling for kindergarten through 8th grade. It features AM and PM latchkey, a futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, and K through 8 athletics. Speaking of athletics, there's a brand new state-of-the-art sports dome field house that has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, and soccer field. Also can be used for 7-on-7 football. Enroll today at academyofwarren.net. That is academyofwarren.net.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Chat is on fire. Thanks to everybody who is watching on YouTube and in the chat. If you are watching on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe to Woodward Sports.
I like that song right there, Sam. That's a little jazz.
Sam.
Jazz me up then. Okay.
Andy Carso, I can't get enough of MCDC. Braylon, the head coach, is getting a lot of love, and I think once Hard Knocks airs on August 9th at 10 p.m., you are going to have...
I'll be here.
Look, people look to different. I was listening. I mean, call me whatever you want. Feel free. But this morning, I was listening to Tony friggin' Robbins to start my day.
Hey.
You want to be fired up to start your day. I mean, it was a 27-minute Tony Robbins driving into Fox 2 today.
I showed you yesterday, Gary Vee reached out in my DMs. You know, Gary Vee, New York guy, motivational speaker. He reached out in my DMs. I was like, oh, man, this is going to be a great year. It's going to be a great year.
I mean, the scheme aside, the X's and O's aside, to have a coach that is that Tony Robbins-like person that you are around your entire day, morning, noon, and night, to be around Dan Campbell makes you a better player, does it not?
It does make you a better player, and you definitely want to have a guy. You want to have a coach. Actually, you're lucky to have a coach that you want to run through a wall for, that you like, yo, this is my guy. But it's still a tricky subject. And the reason why I say it's tricky, because you can have a coach that you want to run through a wall for. You can have a guy that you know gives you the benefit of the doubt. He's a hard worker. You know that he has the best interest of the team, the franchise, and the last name and first name on both of the jerseys, right? Or the front of the jersey and the back of the jersey. Excuse me. But he can hire two coordinators, and now you're in a conundrum. Right. Romeo Crennel was an amazing guy. Romeo Crennel, I knew he wanted the Browns to win in his heart. I knew he wanted us to represent that city and bring playoffs and championship football back. I knew that. But his coordinators were bozos, and they were annoying, and they got into it with all their players, and they pissed the players off, and the players are put in a situation like, look, man, we love Rack, but these two guys or these three, I played with 7 coordinators, but that's not the case with the Lions. They got coordinators that they vibe with.
Well, and they fail fast with their coordinators. Like, think back to last year. I think that gained Dan Campbell a lot because, like you're saying, as a former player, if I'm sitting there and I'm not trusting my coordinator, I'm watching my head coach put up with it week after week after week. Now I'm losing faith in my head coach.
100%.
Dan Campbell got ahead of the problem last year. It was like, this isn't working. We're moving on. Let's try it. Now, look, we got Ben Johnson.
Yeah. That's a hell of a point. Because not only did he remove someone that wasn't working in Anthony Lynn, he removed someone that he asked to come out of retirement. Anthony Lynn, after he got fired from the Los Angeles Chargers, said, look, I'm going to chill, I'm going to take a consulting job or take a year off. Dan said, hey, man, I'm just getting this guy. There's nobody I appreciate more than you on offense. Come and help me out. So he was able to move forward from him. The team sees that, like Stick said. They're like, yo, this guy wants to do what's right.
It's
this
a
guy
business move.
And then you see Aaron Glenn and the defensive players are like, no. Dan Campbell gets it from all standpoints in all areas. So the fact that you got all 3 of them, that's tough, man. That is going to be really good for these young players and this identity of this team moving forward.
And Dan Campbell was talking about, too, earlier this week about the relationship with Ben Johnson because it is not determined yet who is actually going to call the plays. Is it going to be Dan Campbell? Is it going to be Ben Johnson? But I think because Ben Johnson has been with Dan Campbell for many years already, the two guys, and he admitted this himself, they know what the expectation is. They know what the other guy is thinking. They can essentially, they're not at the part of finishing each other's sentences yet.
Close.
But they're close. And I think when you have a basic idea or more than a basic idea of what the identity is of the team, that's how you go about your business. And we'll see in preseason what the play calling is like. We'll see. Ben Johnson will have that opportunity, and I think he'll have that opportunity well into the season.
The interesting thing for me to see is going to happen, and I'm jumping ahead. I'm jumping into next season. I'm jumping into next off season. It's going to be interesting because right now, okay, the Detroit Lions don't have any stars. Okay, the only star that they have is on PUP right now, and that is Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams is a bona fide star. He's an individual that almost could have won a national championship game if he would have stayed healthy. Oh, yeah. If he would have stayed healthy, they win. So he's the only star. Now, with that said, there are some stars in the making. Now, Penei Sewell's a star, but he's on the offensive line. We won't typically count those guys because they're always chill. They're different.
You're talking about skill position
Exactly.
players.
We don't have any of those yet. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next year after DJ Chark goes for 1,200? Or if Jameson Williams only misses 2 games and then he has 1,200? Or Ermanni Oruwariye or Jeff Okudah have 8 picks.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see how this team stays together because that's one of the biggest things in the Detroit Lions history. They've never fully been together. There's been a couple players that were together and look, this is our team, this is what we're gonna do. But there are a couple players over here waiting to do their own thing, or waiting to get paid, or this, the hell with Detroit, or blah blah blah. This is an interesting time because you got a young team, young nucleus. Guys want to be together. Guys are kind of starting together. Nobody's making a ton of money with the exception of the quarterback, and that's understood why in the offensive line.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to happen next year when guys start the ball out and get into that start position.
Yeah, and Brad Holmes gets full credit for that because that means you're vetting out the right guys. You're putting them through the personality test. You're understanding that these are the guys that are coming in, live, breathe, love football. Because that's been a problem in the past. I brought up Laken Tomlinson earlier. One of the knocks on him coming out of the draft was the guy wants to be a doctor. He wants to go travel the world. And it's like football isn't his only focus. And in the scheme of life, that is a great thing. Football shouldn't be. But if you're in the NFL, that should be it, period, right? So I think they've done a great job of bringing in those culture-type guys that all fit the same mindset.
Yeah, I didn't bring you in to talk about being a doctor. Right. Now, if this is something that you want to do.
That's great.
Exactly. That's great. That's amazing. You're going to help people, and that's the type of people we want. But I brought you here to talk about how Detroit Lions can get in the playoffs and eventually to the Super Bowl.
DeAndre Levy, a great example of that. That guy was a hell of a football player.
Lost the love.
But he lost the love and had other things to do. Yeah. And now we lost a great linebacker because the culture wasn't right.
You mentioned it. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, one of my friends is Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald always told me, this is when I was playing. He's a year older. We're the same, a year older class-wise. Well, same class. He's a year older. Age-wise. He always told me about doing other stuff. Like Larry was the type of guy who was like, hey, you should backpack in Italy by yourself. You should skydive. You should do all these things. You should take
skydive.
He's did a lot of things. Take interest in these things. Find out what's going on. Like philanthropic wise, what do you do? So he's one of the first guys talking about philanthropy in terms of in the NFL space. So he's a guy that focused on a lot. But the Arizona Cardinals knew one thing, and that one thing was when it was time to play ball, Larry Fitzgerald was going to show up. Now, I know I'm talking about one of the best of all time, but I'm saying you can have the mindset to want to do other things and to be interested in other things. But when it's time to play football, whether it's OTAs, whether it's a phone call your coach gives you, whether it's training camp, whether it's late in the season and you guys aren't playing for much, but you're the leader, you want to be that guy, it's football time. All that other stuff takes a back seat.
Braylon, you mentioned being great. Who is great on this team? And, we say a rookie that we have not seen in the NFL yet.
Nobody is great on this team.
But my question to you is, don't you finally see pieces at skill positions and even non-skill positions that actually have some potential to be great? I think DeAndre Swift has the potential to be great. Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think they have the potential to be great. I think Tracy Walker has the potential to be great. I think Aiden Hutchinson and Penei Sewell have the potential to be great.
Name the whole roster.
No,
let's go, baby.
But who have I mentioned that you sit there and say this guy's got no chance?
Like you're using the word great.
Yes.
Like you can't use the word great.
Wow.
Because great refers to a select few individuals.
I'll define my great.
In terms of who's great, there are only two great players in this whole division. And that's Justin Jefferson and Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, I'll define my great.
You got to be worried.
I'm going to define my great.
Just say very good.
Be a top 6 to 8 the top 6 to 8 players at that position in the NFL.
I can work with that.
Top tier. Let's just call it that. We have potential to have top tier
in
all those positions.
Next. We'll do that next.
I like that.
But first, a message from SMA. How many players on the Lions could be top 6, top 8 at their positions, top tier?
See, we had to reel you in sometimes. You get going.
I think top 6 is great.
No, that means you're in the best that season.
Fine. Very good.
The sports marketing agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the F Word, is a tremendous show. Having the conversation, talking about addiction, sharing stories, talking about mental health, talking about the work that Sean Jordan and the NFL alumni chapter of Detroit do in the community and in the metropolitan area. It's a great podcast. Check it out. TheSportsMA.com. TheSportsMA.com.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Get a free Woodward Sports t-shirt.
Ribbit.
Big Frog. That's right, a free Woodward Sports t-shirt all month long at Big Frog in Novi. Just stop in, tell them we sent you, and they will print you one on the spot. So go to Big Frog Novi today and get your free t-shirt, or visit them online at bigfrog.com/Novi. That is bigfrog.com/Novi.
Okay, guys, so here we go. Braylon reeled me in a little bit. I think there's a number of players on this Lions roster right now that have the potential, in quotes, star it, whatever, potential to be great players in the NFL. And by great, my definition would be top 6 to top 8. Stick calls it a top tier. Top 6 to top 8 in the NFL at that position. Braylon, what would your definition of great be?
Consistency at the top 5. Because that list changes all the time. How many times in the last year we've seen the receivers change from this guy to that guy, or the number one linebacker in the league, or the best DN rush ins? The list changes all the time. The great players are the players that every year. Now, whether they go from 1 to 5 or 1 to 4 or 4 to 3, they're still somewhere in that top 5 for 4, 5, 6 years in a row. Robert Quinn is a guy that had 18.5 sacks for the Bears last year on the defensive line. Robert Quinn hasn't had more than 12 sacks in the last 4 years. Robert Quinn is number 2 last year. He's not great. He had a really good season. He's a really good player. He's not great. Aaron Donald, that's greatness personified.
Well, that's one of the best of all time.
But that's what great is. Like, if you have a great year, that doesn't make you a great player. I had 16 touchdowns one year. That's a great year. I wasn't a great player in the NFL. So there's such thing as a great season. There's another thing in terms of being great.
Fair enough.
Sustain top 5, top 7, top 8. Now you're a great receiver like that.
Well, the reason I asked the question, and feel free to rattle off a couple of guys that you think have the potential to be that. If you think that list is 1 or 2 or none, great. But I think the reason why I'm going there is because you could have all of the good players you want. If you don't have some guys that are going to pop, if you don't have some great players, you're not going to win anything. You're going to have a really fiery head coach. You're going to have a bunch of good players. But if you don't have that great player, if you don't have multiple great players, and you know, I think of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes, great player to me. Tyreek Hill, great player to me. Travis Kelce, great player to me. You know, I mean, that's just 3 on the offensive side.
Tyrann Mathieu.
Great player. I was going to mention him.
I understand, and I agree with you.
And who's the kid from Michigan? Frank Clark. I think Frank Clark's a great player.
I think Frank Clark is
a very good player.
He's floating on that. He's floating on that level of consistency to where you could call him a great player. He's a damn good player.
So I mean, I just took one team there.
Right, but I understand that. But look what those guys did. Tyrann Mathieu was the number 1 safety in the league for 4, 5, 6 years.
Yeah,
he's proven the number 1 guy. Patrick Mahomes, Sam's boy, as soon as he took over starting quarterback, he's the best quarterback in the league. And even right now, they still call him the best quarterback in the league, even though Aaron's got back-to-back. That's what I'm talking about. Sustained top 5. Tyreek Hill, since he's been in the league, he's been in the top 5. So you just proved my point even more. To be great, to get that title from you, Ryan Ermanni, from you, Stick, you got to do it at a high level, 4, 5, 6 years. Cooper Kupp, he had the best season from start to finish, including the playoffs, of any wide receiver ever. Jerry Rice is next on that list. Best year ever. Cooper Kupp had a great season. Cooper Kupp's got to go back and do that again to be called a great.
Okay, but we're arguing about semantics now.
No, it's not semantics. You can't have one great year and be a great player. Now, to answer your question, who has potential to be great? Penei Sewell has potential to be great. Frank Ragnow has the potential to be great. DeAndre Swift, asterisk, but potential to be great. Jameson Williams, what I saw in college, potential to be great. Those are the guys that I think have the potential to be great. Now, and Aiden Hutchinson, I think, has the potential to be damn good to close to great. He has to prove me wrong on that one. I'm sorry. But other than that, there's some guys that have potential to be really good on this team.
And here's what I love about this. We're naming guys on both sides of the ball, right?
Yeah,
we're saying Penei Sewell, we're saying Taylor Decker, then you're saying Hutchinson. Yeah. Iron's going to sharpen iron. These guys are going to be going up against each other every day in practice, so they're only going to get better going up against great talent or potentially great talent if we're arguing over semantics. And to me, when Ryan first said this, I'm thinking a guy has a potential to make the Pro Bowl. Like, I'll use that as my barometer.
Okay.
Do these guys have a potential to make a Pro Bowl? And we have more than a handful of players, maybe 10 potential Pro Bowlers on this roster. And, not to be funny about it, last year, who was the guy we were all hyped? Jack Fox. Right. We don't even bring him up this year so far. But honestly, Jack Fox was the highlight of last year for us. This year, Jack Fox, we haven't even discussed him, and that's awesome.
There's Mark Walston mentions a player, too, that I think we forget about a lot, and that is Ermanni Oruwariye. I think he has the potential to be a damn good player in this league, and he is somebody that you're going to be able to depend on. If this kid can stay healthy, this kid can make a significant impact on your team. Could he be a lockdown corner, and then you let Will Harris and you let Jeff Okudah figure out the other side, and maybe 2 or 3 other guys?
Amon-Ra St. Brown?
No.
Amari Oruwariye?
Yeah, on the defensive side of the ball, at cornerback.
But see, I love the fact that, I love what you said, because I agree. I think Amari Oruwariye, when he was at Penn State, I liked him a lot as well. Thought he would go higher in the draft. But I liked him. I like him in the league now. I like the leadership role he kind of took on last year. So what you just said, I think he has the potential to be a very damn good player. I agree. But when you just start throwing great around, it's like great, you gotta be special to be great.
But again, I mentioned great. I mentioned a player that was taken number 2 overall, a player that was taken 7th overall. Yeah. So there is some talent there.
Yeah, 100%.
And they do have potential to be those pieces. And by the way, the other guy that I mentioned was taken 12th overall. It probably would have been top 5 if he didn't tear his ACL. So they are picking players. And, I'm not. I guess Amon-Ra. You could toss him out, and maybe Tracy Walker. But every player you mentioned, I mentioned, minus Amon-Ra and Tracy Walker.
Yeah.
And these are high draft picks.
And a name we haven't brought up, Jeff Okudah.
I don't know if he's got the potential to be great. I'm just hoping for a solid year from him.
Serviceable.
Serviceable. Get something out of him. Yeah. I think he can have a really nice year. But again, with him, I finally, you're working against wide receivers who are NFL caliber wide receivers in this league. We talked about Quintez Cephus. Everybody's mentioning, Quintez Cephus caught the pass yesterday that he came down on over Jeff Okudah. But that doesn't mean anything.
Well, he's been doing that since college. Those guys that play against Wisconsin, Ohio State. But you talk about wide receivers. I think we should break down the NFC North and talk about who has the best wide receivers.
I definitely want to do that. I think we have Kory next. We have Kory Woods coming up next. He's on the phone. We'll talk to Kory, and then we're going to get to your wide receivers in the NFC North, baby. We'll do that all next. But first, a message from the Folding Warehouse.
The Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck. It's a Detroit original. This game was invented by Detroiters, Chris Hutt. So when you're down there, make sure you say hi to Chris Hutt. He is the man, the myth, the legend that created this game. And you could go down there with a group full of friends, rent out a lane, and have a great night. They got the $2 mystery beer machine. You can bring in your own food. It's such a cool, unique Detroit setting. But not only in Hamtramck, they're opening one in Ann Arbor too. So get ready. Go Fulham with your friends at the Fulham Warehouse.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron. Here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You can get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Ciabattas, summer salads, and dip shakes. All at Big Boy. Try a chicken club, chicken cordon bleu, or sunrise ham and cheddar. All on our grilled ciabatta bread. Or keep it light with our Michigan apple, chicken Caesar, or Greek salad. And don't forget to cool off with a frosty hand-dipped cookies and cream or strawberry shake. You heard it here first. Summer just got better.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Planet Fitness is inviting all high school teens between the ages of 14 and 19 to work out for free all summer long via the High School Summer Pass, and it goes all the way until August 31st. Planet Fitness is home of the Judgment-Free Zone.
No judgment.
No judgment, where you can work in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere with membership starting at only $10 a month.
Only $10?
Only $10.
It's two $5 bills, man.
Hey, or you can get the black card for $24.99 per month. Join today in club online at planetfitness.com. Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Essential. Top of hour number 2 of the program. Thanks for making Woodward Sports the bottom line part of your day. Tell a friend about us. Subscribe to Woodward Sports. Hit the like button as well. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Fletch and Flannel in the house. Maz out today. We've got Stick in for him. We'll sideline Stick for a moment, and we'll bring in Kory Woods. You can follow him on Twitter at Kory E. Woods, Kory with a K, our Lions beat reporter, all things Lions.
There
Kory, how you doing, my friend? What up,
yeah,
Joe?
we got you.
Can you hear me today?
No, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
cool.
you're good today.
So I'm trying to figure out this new mic. It doesn't tell you whether the volume is going up or down, so I got to figure this one out. I got to probably plug the headphones in there.
How the allergies going today, man? We good? We're good.
Yes, sir. Right there.
Hey, you ain't the only one. Zyrtec D, that's the way to go. Zyrtec D, man.
Indeed.
Hey, Kory, observation number 1 from today's training camp for you is?
Nothing really, because today they weren't in full pass today. Today they were doing a light through. They went hard the first 2 days, and today was a light jog through. They actually ended practice pretty early. They normally get out of practice like around 10 o'clock, 10:30 if they're trying to get some stuff going. But today they ended right before 10 o'clock. Like I want to say about 9:45. So it was really nothing to take away. It was almost like they're just getting some cardio in.
You know what? It's interesting you say that, because, again, I mentioned that I watched that Dan Campbell press conference earlier today, which you were in, and he talked about it. I'm going to back down a bit today. He said today could be a mental work day, but I'm going to back down today on the field. And, everything he says he's going to do, he's doing that. How much does that help the players along when they know what their head coach is telling them? That's what's going to happen, because that's not always the case.
That's never the case.
I mean, just at anything in life, transparency is great. So I guess that would translate over to the NFL too. If your coach is letting you know what's going on, you're going to be able to in the know and know how to prepare you, get your body ready, get your mind ready. So I just think it's pretty good. It's actually good for us too, because I remember last year Dan Campbell was overly transparent when he was describing injuries. So just even how he talks to reporters, he's just very transparent and makes us do our job a lot better.
Let me ask you a couple about the first teams, because obviously there are a couple injuries. See, Quintez Cephus went down, but it looks like he's better than we initially thought, so that's good. Jameson Williams is on PUP right now, so we're waiting for him to get cleared, start practicing, and see what his timetable is. Who's going to be wide receiver 1, 2, and 3 for this Detroit Lions team right now? Who's going to be the guys that they're depending on, or Jared Goff is going to in camp? Because you got to have some guys get it going. Who's going to be 1, 2 for his reads, big guy?
I'm thinking they're going to go like this. One is going to be DJ Chark. His just athleticism and his speed, the hands, it's all on display. I would say probably right now, probably have Josh Reynolds on opposite of him, because they have the comfortability together from just playing together so many years, and also just seeing what he did last year when they acquired him off the waivers, and now they're able to have a full training camp together. That's just going to be a benefit right there. And then probably go ahead and throw Amon Ra in the slot.
Gotcha.
Hey, Kory, I wanted to ask you, too. We were talking about, just to pick up on a conversation we were having a moment ago, about potential to be great. Who on this team has the potential to be really, really good players on the team? And we named off 5, 6, 7 guys as potential. The talent on this roster, who would you say has the potential to be great players in the NFL on this roster, off the top of your head?
Okay, so that's kind of a real broad question. Are you talking about from just the young guys or just players in general?
Players in general. Who could be top 5, top 6 at their positions consistently in the NFL?
You know what? I'm actually going to piggyback off something I heard in conversation with Coach Luke Neal, Jamal Williams' trainer, the other day. I'm going to, you know what? He introduced something that I didn't really think about. I would say, and I'm not saying this is in no order, I would say Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift have the talent, have the possibility to be great, because the reason I say that is he said that he would like to see the Lions play both of them in the backfield at the same time, because in his opinion, if the Lions do that, they will have the NFL's deadliest duo. And I asked him why about that, and he said, first off, what we did is Jamal Williams planned on coming into training camp at around 228. But they decided to switch up the flow and get him back down to 217, where he was his rookie season with the Green Bay Packers. That's when he won into their rookie Hall of Fame and whatnot. He had the same amount of rushing attempts as the Lions last year and close to around the same rushing yards. So, and it was in his rookie year was his best year of his career. So they're trying to get back to that. And he's saying that now, with how his physique is compared with DeAndre Swift's physique he already had, and DeAndre Swift got bigger, they would be a mismatch. He said, what linebacker want to get it through those two? So those are two guys that I say, if the Lions utilize them in that fashion, they could have the potential to be great.
You talk about those running backs. What about that offensive line? You know, kind of talked about earlier today that last year, not one offensive snap those offensive linemen played together in the regular season. And, you know, Dan Campbell was glowing at practice, said, oh, boy, they can move some guys. How important is that offensive line to the success of the team?
It's very vital. That offensive line has to, first off, protect Jared Goff. That's the number one mission, because if Jared Goff goes down, I'm just saying this whole thing might as well just look at it as being a lottery team, or just whatever point he would go down, look at it as count it as a wash from there. So protecting Jared Goff, that's off rip why they're important. But just how they just open up the running game as well. You have a guy like Penei Sewell in his second year, he's going to be looking even better in camp right now than he did last year. You got Frank Ragnow who's come back, and according to Dan Campbell, like he said this morning, Ragnow hasn't missed a beat. You got Taylor Decker, they're easing him along a little bit. I guess he had like a little bit of injury concern, but they're easing him in. But with that whole line, they just have a really good chance to be I think they are the most important unit on the team. I kind of think that goes without saying, but they have the potential to really make this offense super special if they can just go ahead and protect Jared Goff and those backs.
Hey, talk a little bit about Ben Johnson. You know, obviously, for the people watching, all they keep trying to figure out, is it going to be Dan Campbell calling plays? Is it going to be Ben Johnson? Will Ben Johnson do the offensive package and the passing game, and Dan Campbell does the running game? What have you seen so far in terms of Ben Johnson calling plays and the guys kind of feeding into Ben Johnson being the guy, or Dan Campbell?
Well, I mean, I see Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell in conversation throughout their time on the field. But when it comes to, getting the offense together, I sometimes just kind of see Dan Campbell kind of sitting in the back and look like he's just more so observing what Ben Johnson is doing. And Ben Johnson is really vocal with Jared Goff. You see him vocal with the receivers and the running back. So I'm thinking that the play caller could end up being Ben Johnson.
There we go.
Talking to Kory Woods, our Lions beat reporter, Woodward Sports Network. Kory, again at the press conference today, Dan Campbell referred to the linebackers and pretty much listed off every one, but had glowing things to say about Alex Anzalone and Derek Barnes and Malcolm Rodriguez and Houston and all these guys. How do you anticipate this thing shaking out?
Ooh. You know what? That's one of their weakest cores on the team. That one of their weakest units. So, to me, that's still null and void. I have no idea how that's going to pan out. I want to see more of them in in pads. Just for me personally, I can't give a real opinion on it because yesterday's practice, the first practice, you know, they were kind of like a little bit rusty. Yesterday was a little bit sloppier. Today they went through a walkthrough. So for the linebackers, I want to say kind of null and void for me personally. I don't have a real opinion on them yet.
Dan Campbell went to the podium, then he talked about his linebackers. Talk about the linebacking core could be the strength. Talk about Derek Barnes. Talk about Malcolm Rodriguez. And according to Ryan, he mentioned every linebacker they had. Well, we know linebackers are only as good as the guys in front. So how good can these linebackers really be in this year?
They got the potential to be good, but again, you already said it's up to that line up there, up to what Rockers do, it up to what Liam McNeil does, it up to what Aiden Hutchinson can do. So it's tough to say. It's that they have the potential. I mean, on paper, they have some guys that can go out there and go make some plays, but again, it remains to be seen because Liam McNeil last year he looked decent, but now he's going to, for those linebackers to take that leap, he's going to have to look even better than he did last year.
Hey, Kory, last thing for you. Anything about Josh Paschal? Anything at all? I mean, that's a friggin' high draft pick. You just don't hear his name but one time in the last month, essentially.
Yeah, it's been real slow chatter on him. You know, I'll make sure to bring that up tomorrow because it's been no talk about him. It's been like I don't want to say it was a wasted pick, but it's eerily silent, like church mouse silent.
Is it like he's injured? Is he like again, for lack of a better way to say it, like a head? Like is it his mental? I mean, I know he's got the hernia, sports hernia, but
well, the last thing that we heard, and this was from Dan Campbell, he said that he did have the sports hernia, but that was not the reason why he was on the field.
That's exactly. That's and again, I'm glad
that was just a mic drop moment about Paschal since then.
I'm glad you pointed that out because when he said that, I was shocked that nobody followed up with it. What do you mean it's not because of the sports hernia? So that'd be great. I'd be curious to see because again, that's a really high draft pick that could be that really could be useful because the head coach himself said he had the sports hernia, but that's not why he's not practicing. So why isn't he practicing?
They already took the swing at going ahead and drafting an injured guy in Jamison Williams, which was the right thing to do. But there were other healthier options out there at that edge rusher position to complement Aiden Hutchinson, and then you go with Paschal, and then you see Aiden out there, you know that Jamison Williams is trending towards getting on the field at some point. But with Paschal, it's like, well.
It's like, is he still here? Maybe he went back to Kentucky.
Yeah, that's good stuff. All right, Kory, thanks so much, my friend. We'll check back in with you tomorrow, bud.
Sure.
You got it.
I'm waiting for that invite too, man.
I do think that's an interesting, side note that we have not heard. I have not seen. If somebody has seen it, let me know. But I have not seen any follow up to the Josh Paschal, and this was 2 days ago when Dan Campbell said, he had the sports hernia surgery in the spring, but that's not why he's not practicing.
What's up with Detroit franchises picking players and then can't find them? Eduardo Rodriguez in baseball. Now we can't find Paschal. Killian Hayes was missing 2 years ago.
Right.
Like, can't we get lucky one time?
Can we have nice things?
Man,
can we? Nice things.
Find them.
Find them. All right, Braylon, I want to talk wide receivers with you. Do the Lions have the best wide receivers in the NFC North? We'll ask you that next, but first a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. Hey, do you want a new car?
I do.
Go to Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac and go get one. They have cars on their lot right now that you can drive off with.
In Dearborn, right?
In Dearborn,
100%.
on Michigan Avenue.
Okay.
It is no secret that new cars are hard to come by, but they are available at Les Stanford. Got to make a plan, though. Allocation coming in for lease or purchase of new vehicles. Les Stanford has over 300 pre-owned cars on their lot right now. All makes, all models, all years. Some with less than 500 miles, so they're like new. For more, visit LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions
featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Hey, it's Scott from the Woodward Bet Show. Hey, it's Wednesday. It's one of our favorite days. We get to talk golf with our girl Kelly. Hey, we've been red hot with our golf picks, so make sure you join us at 4:30 over at the Woodward Bets YouTube page. You guys also got to make sure you get over to that app store and download oddstrader.com. Listen, it's got live scoring, play-by-play updates, and it's the best place to check all the odds at the sports books right in the palm of your hand. But hey, let's get some fun coupons. We need to get us some money. So listen, my favorite bet here today is the Marlins. And our boy, Sandy, don't call me Sally Alacanatera. Listen, that's how we do it. Woodward Bets, oddstrader.com. Check it out.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta's equipment has everything you need to get the job done. Have a big project coming up? Alta Rent has you covered. Call them today at 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That is 844-GO-TO-ALTA.
Alta, uptime. Hey, Braylon, nobody knows wide receivers quite like you do, at least in this room.
Too kind.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah, see, I like that. I like the end.
At least in this room.
Sucker.
We list out what was a terrible weakness for the Lions last year, should be a big-time strength this year, and that is the wide receivers. And when you relate it to the rest of the division, take out Devontae Adams in Green Bay. Could this wide receiver core collectively be a strength and the strongest unit at wide receiver in the NFC North Division?
So I'll start with who I think is going to be the bottom of the four. I'll tell you who I think is going to be the top, and then I'll work in 2 and 3. Does that sound okay?
Please.
Coming in at 4th place in the division for the wide receiver, it's the Chicago Bears. I think Chicago Bears have been depleted at wide receiver, although they do have Darnell Mooney, who I think is going to have a fantastic connection with your boy Justin Fields from the Ohio State. I think outside of that, a lot of unknowns. Don't know what they can do down there. They lose Allen Robinson last year. That's going to be a huge loss for them, so got to hold them at the 4th spot. In the number 1 spot, the best wide receiver in the division, who's also top 3 wide receiver in the NFL, that's Justin Jefferson. And guess what? Adam Thielen is number 1 in the NFL in the last 2 years in touchdown receptions, and he didn't play in 5 games last year. He's also been a top 10 wide receiver at some point in the last 5 years. So I think the fact that you got Justin Jefferson, the fact that you have Adam Thielen now to be back this year, not to mention you have KJ Osborne, who's a guy that when Thielen went out last year, KJ Osborne had 700 yards, was just under 700 yards receiving. He had 5 touchdowns. So I think that's a tremendous trio that those guys have right there. And then they have a couple guys as well as B.C. Johnson, who's going to be good, and then obviously Jalen Naylor, this guy I'm pulling for out of Michigan State. So I got them at the number 1 spot.
I mean, Justin Jefferson is elite of elite. He's one of 2 guys.
14-10.
One of 3 guys.
14. Thank you. See, that's why you're my brother, because you get 14-10 as a rookie, which is 2 years ago, 1,600 last year. He's trending up by 200, and this was with Adam Thielen out last year. So it's not like he had his road dog on the other side. He did that without Adam Thielen. So, yeah, you got to have them as number 1. Now, here's where it gets interesting, Ryan, because I look at the Green Bay Packers, who have the second best quarterback in the NFL, or back-to-back champions. You get it. It's Aaron Rodgers.
He's top 3, top 4.
He's top 3. You start flowing with Tom, and then obviously Patrick Mahomes. Those are the 3 right there.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen is in there. Those are the 4. So with that being said, we know he developed.
They also play golf together.
They do. And, oh, man, Tom Brady gives them the business with the jokes, too. He talked about all their receivers leaving. That was funny. But you look at that, and you're like, okay, cool. It's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers will always find a way. But usually he's got that guy waiting in the wings. He's already got the guy that has taken that leap. Or he's got the guy that is coming off of 1,200 yards, 1,300 yards. This is a new year almost for everybody. Is Lazard going to take that jump? Like, is Alan Lazard the next one up? Devontae Adams took 3 years. Jordy Nelson took 3 years. Randall Cobb took 3 years. Is Lazard the next one up? Then you look at Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins he's had 1,000 yards once, but he's averaged 500 yards a year receiving. So he's more of a teacher. He's more of a role player. Randall Cobb, stop playing. Then you have Romeo Doubs, who got drafted after Christian Watson, but they're saying he's going to be better than Christian Watson. So there's a lot of ifs in that. So I'll just hold off on that. Then you have Detroit Lions. You got a guy in DJ Chark that's made the Pro Bowl 2 years ago. You got a guy in Jameson Williams that was the best wide receiver in this past draft, but he's coming off injury. You got Quintez Cephus. You got a guy that we're high on. You got a guy that I like a lot. But guess what? He can't seem to stay healthy. There's always an injury kind of hovering over him, as in college. Then you look at Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown had an amazing year last year, but that's because there was no one else to throw the ball to. He's not going to be in that role anymore. He's going to be in the 3 spot or the 2 spot. So he's a really good wide receiver, but he hasn't yet to play in the 3 spot. And then you look at, Khalif Raymond and then Josh Reynolds. Mm-hmm. So as I look at the ifs between that, I got to go with Aaron Rodgers, and I think I picked Green Bay too. But I give the Detroit Lions an asterisk because I think if everything works out for them, if Jameson Williams works out to be healthy, if Amon-Ra St. Brown fits into his role in the 3 spot, if DJ Chark is everything that we thought he was going to be going into last season in fantasy football before the injury to his ankle, if all that plays out right behind that offensive line, the Lions are 3 with the chance to move to 1.
How optimistic should Lions fans be about Jameson Williams? Can he be a Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase type wide receiver for this team? Could he have that same impact, or is it those guys are here and Williams could get close but next tier?
Williams is better than they were in college. Like, Williams is on that same level that they were on in college, where Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase went on that 2019 team, won the national championship game. Well, guess what? The receiver that was in that, he was in the playoffs as well. Jameson Williams was in there. You see a guy that came out next year and balled out, did his thing. He put his team. See, the difference when you look at Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, they were electric with LSU. They were electric with Joey Cool, but they had a collective of guys that balled to be amazing. Clyde Edwards-Helaire was the running back. Joe Cool was the quarterback. Randy Moss' son was the tight end. That team was just completely stacked. That Alabama team last year, yeah, they had the Heisman Trophy winner, but they had a lot of injuries. They had just an okay offensive line for them. The secondary was just kind of okay, but had some really good players. They were the most average Alabama team that's been in the national championship team in a long time. He was about to have that team the winners. So looking at it that way, I got to say Jameson Williams is on that level, if not better than those guys. And we'll see what happens when he's able to come back because, it takes some time. It's the mental. Like I always tell you, like he'll be healed physically. Like he'll be able to go out there, plant, jump, run. He can go to hoops right now, dunk on somebody. You can do all that. But it's the mental. When you're running that route, are you scared to really put your right foot in the ground and come out and make that break? Like when you're about to go up to try to maul somebody, or you're trying to go high point a ball, when you're going up, you kind of get nervous about coming down because your knee was hurt, but now it's not. So the mental thing, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes from there, just from the mental aspect of things.
You mentioned Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, too, about, Lazard and, Watkins and a couple of other these players. I wonder how long it takes to develop a relationship with the quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, you come in for one game or 3 or 4 games without Devontae Adams and it seems like you could do it, but how long does it take to develop a relationship, a trust with a quarterback, whether you're Aaron Rodgers and Sammy Watkins or whether you're Jared Goff and Jameson Williams?
See, you just hit the nail on the head, and that's why I have the question marks about their offense. Their offensive as it relates to the wide receivers is, look, Aaron Rodgers is a guy that's great. Aaron, you talk about great. Aaron Rodgers is great in the regular season. Aaron Rodgers will do just fine with these wide receivers. He will have these wide receivers where they want to be. He doesn't accept anything less than perfection in terms of the work you put in terms of after practice, in terms of knowing the plays, knowing the concepts. So those guys are going to get that part together. But you just hit on a major word for Aaron Rodgers: trust. In the last 12 years, how many times has Aaron Rodgers thrown 10 or more interceptions?
None.
Once.
One
time in the last 12 years, it was 2010. Every year since then, 4, 7, 7, 7, 8, 7, 6. So you know what that means? He does not put the ball in situations where he believes that they're going to be picked. So if you're a wide receiver that he can't trust, if Christian Watson can't catch the ball or can't figure it out, Christian Watson ain't going to play. If Lazard can't take that next step and be the next Devontae Adams, the next Jordy Nelson, the next Greg Jennings, then Lazard ain't going to be getting the ball like that. It'll be Sammy Watkins, Randall Cobb, and he'll figure it out with Romeo Dobbs. So that's the interesting situation is Aaron Rodgers don't trust a lot of people, especially when it comes to his interception to touchdown ratio.
While we're talking about the wide receivers, Braylon, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, you have the number 1 pick in the wide receiver draft. Who are you taking? I want your answer next. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience just like I did today.
Ooh, you look
My
good,
girl,
brother.
Becca, over here.
Looking good.
The 15 in Woodward location. Ooh-wee. Damn, I look good today.
You do, though. You do.
But anyway, more
Got
on
the
this
Clark Kent thing
contest.
going on.
Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience. Register for a chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win the car of your dreams. From Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac, Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. No appointment necessary. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer at Academy Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
OddsTrader.com is the number 1 site for your game day bets, play-by-play updates, live scores, and the best prices on every game from multiple sport books. So that means, hey, if you want to bet on Aaron Judge for home runs, come here. You want to bet on who's going to win the Super Bowl, come here. You want to bet on who's going to be the Rookie of the Year, Jaden Ivey, come here. Guess what? All the bets you want, the best bets, most comparable prices, all the sports book, simply put, they're the best. OddsTrader.com.
All right, Braylon, while we're talking about the wide receivers, let's just go here now. I'm so intrigued by Justin Jefferson because I think while he's...
Are you going to you ask me the question?
Yes, okay. I am. I just want to get this out because I think because he plays with a very average quarterback, he is seen as...
The Kirk Cousins hate is real.
Less than Jamar Chase. I think Jamar Chase, to me... I would take him 1 and then, go from there. Justin Jefferson, maybe, Cooper Kupp, all these guys. Who would you take number 1 overall in the NFL? Kupp, Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase, Deebo Samuel. I mean,
don't forget Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs. Diggs isn't in that, though. You're not taking him 1 overall.
Yeah, you are. I'm not taking him overall, but he's in that conversation. Okay. Because you got to name 5. He's in that conversation.
I defer to you on this.
Yeah, well, defer. Let me bring it over here. You stay over there. No, it's interesting. I'll answer it this way. This is how I'll answer it for you. 2 years ago, Justin Jefferson. It starts off. Let me take a step back. It starts off with the young thing. Nobody wants to rank young guys like the ones. Like, it takes so long, and even though we've kind of gotten out of that, now you're seeing guys explode rookie year in multiple positions. People still were ranking. They try to hold the older guys in there. Like, they were trying to have D-Hop in there forever, although he deserves to be up there. It's Devontae Adams. Like, they want the older guys because it goes back to what I talk about. When you're naming great, they try to give you that, it's been 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. So with that being said, Justin Jefferson broke the rookie record 2 years ago with 14-10. And then the next year, Jamar Chase breaks the rookie record with 14-86 or 14-87 or whatever it was that he had.
81.
After Justin Jefferson's rookie year, after going All-American college, after helping win the national championship, after breaking the NFL rookie record, after going to the Pro Bowl and being All-Pro, after all of those accolades, guess what Joe Burrow said when asked who was better between Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson? This is his quarterback, by the way. He did, and Sam knows I'm not lying, he did not hesitate. He said, Jamar Chase is good. Listen, I love Justin Jefferson. He's my brother. I love him from another mother. He's my guy. Jamar Chase, and Justin knows this too, Jamar Chase is just a different animal. So I'm going with Jamar Chase because Joey Cool said it, and I think he will know it. Also, Ryan, if you just watch how he plays the game, it's very fast. It's very physical. It's very aggressive. Like, he's not a guy that's out there 6'4". Like, Jamar Chase is like 6'1", 6 foot and 7/8 or something along those lines. He'll jump over you. He'll run by you. He'll run through you. He runs the routes the way in which they're supposed to be run. The quarterback, it trusts him. He's confident in him. And no stage is too big for Jamar Chase, whether it's beating the Chiefs at home, whether it's beating the Chiefs at the Chiefs in Arrowhead, whatever you need out of him, he shows up. And in the Super Bowl, Jalen Ramsey, number 5, the best DB in the league for the last couple of years. Now, it may be up for debate now. You got some other ones, Jair Alexander, C.J. Jackson out there. It's up for debate now. But he was getting destroyed the whole Super Bowl. That man, Joe Burrow, just didn't have time to get him the ball. So with that being said, Jamar Chase is the receiver of the future, and Justin Jefferson is second.
Jamar Chase, 6 foot, 200 pounds, which means he's like 5'11 and a half.
No, NFL don't be lying because they push you all the way down.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
It's standard.
So
6 foot 200.
Jamison Williams, by the way,
6'2",
6'1 and a quarter, 180. So, I mean, you're talking about very similar stats. 20 pounds is 20 pounds. What do you think about that?
What I've seen from, and this is no slight to Jamison Williams, because he will put on some NFL weight. It's just natural progression of life as a man. Like, the older you get, you go from 18 to 21.
Tell me about it.
You go from 21 to 25. You start to put on that grown man prime, and you find it. Like, I came into the league. I came into the league at 212. Like, my grown man prime was 218. Like, 218 was Pro Bowl weight. So it's going to happen. But with that being said, from Jamar Chase, and maybe it happens later for Jamison Williams, you just see a dog. Like, when I watch Jamison Williams play, I see the guy's fast. I see he does run good routes, catches with his hands. Like, I see he'll go up and make a play. Like, I see that. I see the speed it's like a blur. You know what I'm saying? It's like he runs right by. But with Jamar, you just see a football player that, oh, by the way, is fast as hell, can jump over guys, can make that catch, can make any catch, that it's even kill, that doesn't flinch in the moment. I just see something special in him, and if it wasn't on display in the playoffs for everybody to see, and the Super Bowl included, then that means you're blind. Because that dude is something extra. Like, that goes with, T.O. and Randy Moss were both great. Randy had that something special. Like, he had that little something extra that takes him over that level. And you're talking about the two of the 3 greatest wide receivers of all time. And I think that's what you can get from Justin Jefferson. He's going to be great, damn great. But Jamar Chase just got that little something extra.
I'm so friggin' pumped for the NFL.
Yeah.
I think I'm pumped for the NFL because I think this is as good as the NFL has been collectively. There's so many good teams. There's so many good players.
Yeah.
Every game that's going to be on national television should be good.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and so many people have moved, and it's so crazy. I was thinking about this earlier, and I'm glad you said that. We talk so much in the AFC West, and we talk about Devontae Adams, and we talk about, and rightfully so, we talk about Russell Wilson. You talk about the moves made. Nobody talks about Chandler Jones going to the Raiders. Chandler Jones is, if you look at the last 10 years, Chandler Jones has more sacks than anybody in the NFL currently, including everybody that's in there. Like, he's over there now. I just think you see so much even kill level playing field. I see guys going to make teams better. Like, Julio Jones just went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I see the league spreading talent out, and I see teams taking advantage of that. So I've never wanted to see a season start as much as I want to see this one, including when I played.
Well, the Hall of Fame game is tomorrow. It's the Raiders
I'm talking about
and the Jaguars. I know, I'm just saying preseason. I'm not into like the preseason to me is whatever, but I will take football. Tomorrow we will have an NFL game, even though what's the kid's name from Jacksonville, the quarterback?
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
And Travis Etienne will not be playing.
They're not playing. So maybe you'll get a look at C.J. Beathard at quarterback.
Hey,
but
man.
at least it's football, man.
I agree.
We are here. This 95, 101 degree real field day. Get out of here.
Listen,
Stay out.
I would much rather watch C.J. Beathard and a bunch of other guys that I forgot were in college. I would much rather watch that than the Houston Astros or the New York Yankees beat the Royals by 15. I'm sorry. I would much more watch that.
Yeah, I would too, and I'd much rather watch that than be forced to watch the Detroit Tigers another time. Exactly. I do not care about Tigers baseball anymore. If you you brought it up. You did this. You did this.
I did.
You did this to yourself.
I did now, man.
Because we're having a good show, and now you mentioned the baseball, and I can't not mention.
Hey, you have a mulligan. Take a mulligan.
I just want to say, I'm done with the Detroit Tigers. I'm done with them. I just am. It's unfortunate, but don't want to talk about them until they let Alavila go.
Miguel Cabrera may go on the IL, so we can have that.
Yeah, be done.
Yeah, no more Miggy either.
And I have no emotional attachment to him, so it's not.
I heard about that.
Yeah, so that's fine. He plays every day. We don't watch him anyway. You know what I mean? Nobody's watching these guys. So it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Lynn Henning with a great piece today in the Detroit News. And I think this is the first time I saw somebody in the newspaper really say this is it for Alavila. Yesterday's trade deadline didn't nothing really happened. Tigers shipped Michael Fulmer off, but perhaps that is the end of the line for Alavila. We will see. Don't care. Not talking Tigers. So there you go. But much more coming up next. First, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
Yeah, Ermanni gets mad when you're talking about the Tigers. Nice way for even some nice therapy. Go sit and lay in the Chili Peppers tanning booth. Get that nice heat on you. Get that nice bronze tan because they have the hottest bulbs at the best prices. And make sure you join the Pepper Club while you're there. And they'll beat all competitors by $5. You like saving money? You like getting tan? Chili Peppers Tanning. That's where you need to go.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
Make sure you're listening to Woodward Sports all day long. Start your morning with the Morning Woodward Show. Spend middays with Big D Energy. Watch and listen your drive home with the Bottom Line. And don't forget about Woodward Bets Daily. All live, all right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Ooh, Big Boy is here,
Ciabatta.
and so are ciabattas. And one of my favorite sandwiches of all time, chicken cordon bleu sandwich. I just love it. It's
Cordon.
so good. And if you haven't had the one at Big Boy, you are doing yourself a disservice. So treat yourself. Go to Big Boy, get those ciabattas. They're available right now, and then you're going to get free fries and a Pepsi with that. Can't beat that deal. Go to a local Big Boy near you. There's one right around the corner.
Sounds good, looks good. Head to Big Boy tonight. Tonight's a good night for one of those hot fudge sundaes that they have there.
Every night's a good night for that hot fudge sundae.
No doubt. Well, when it's the old 101 real feel out there. My goodness. I want to get back to some NFL topics we discussed earlier in the show. Off the top of the show, Braylon, you had some more things to say that you wanted upon reflection of the Miami Dolphins suspension. The owner, Stephen Ross, $1.5 million fine, suspended through October 17th. The team loses a 2023 first-round pick, a 2024 third-round pick. But that was all for tampering to the highest degree. What say you 24 hours later?
Yeah, 24 hours later, this is how I look at the situation. Yesterday, we talked about, it wasn't fair for an individual of his stature as it relates to the money that he has, the power that he wields, in this process where Brian Flores comes out and says, hey, this is what was going on. For the NFL to take 6 months to look over what Brian Flores said, then come back and say, what Brian Flores said was right. And then what Tom Brady said, he said, hey, I backed off. And then Tom Brady said he backed up Brian Flores. The NFL looked into it, and they agreed with it. Nobody came out and said, I'm sorry, Brian Flores, by the way, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah. But then you come out, you say he was right. What he said was right. You said it was an egregious amount of information that you found. You've never seen a tampering situation like that. You've never seen that, including what the Patriots have done. My God. So you say you've never seen that, but, when they're trying to figure out the second part that, yes, the tampering was there, but trying to figure out, did he actually try to throw the games? He actually throw the games. Did he actually say in the rhetoric that he threw the games, or he asked Brian Flores to tank, and then he actually found some trail, found some money somewhere, found some $100,000 somewhere? Well, because he took his word for it, they said, no, that's not what happened, though. He was just joking. You heard it out of context. Well, when the guys up in Washington were talking about slapping asses with the girls that were working in the front office, was that a joke too? Did somebody hear those guys wrong for the Washington Commanders?
No, they. I'm not sure they even heard it yet because Daniel Snyder is still in charge of that team. What did we say yesterday, Braylon? The billionaires always win.
100%. So, but pulling it back full circle. For what the NFL said, they're very sneaky. They're very sneaky and they're very tricky. You can't mess with the power. Because for what they said and what they actually ruled on, I actually have no problem with the fine. I think it's a good fine. I think for what they're talking about, because tampering happens, but a lot of stuff happens. I mean, like PEDs are illegal. Oh, see here, 4 games. Your first time is 4 games. So for what they did in tampering, what they announced as the reason they fined them, yeah, it works. Because you lose a draft pick, you lose a first-round pick. Well, how many first-round picks have we seen in the last couple of years change the progression of a team? So that's fair. Then you lose a third-round pick. Then you find $1.5 million. You can't come around the facility for 6 weeks. For tampering, I'm cool with that. But this has layers to it. Because now, you know that the tampering was true. You know that he asked that man to tank those games, talking about, we were just joking, and they took it out of context. They didn't take it out of context, and now it has layers, because now you asked him to tank. You asked him to tank in a space where there's now sports betting on games. So if you're asking him to tank, now you're actually messing with the scores, which is some people are betting on it. I'm just going deeper. It's inside betting. And also, it's another layer to it. You hired a black man as coach to feed the Rooney Rule, to say, hey, look at us, we hired one. But you hired him under the guise and premise that, we're going to ask him to take $100,000 so that we can tank and ultimately get Tom Brady as in the front office, and then bring on Sean Payton as a coach, and we can get another draft pick at the high rate. Like, all that has to add up. So if you're just punishing him for tampering, all right, cool. You know what? I accept the fine. 1.5 is cool, and a draft pick is huge, especially in this day and age as you're trying to come back. And then the third-round pick is cool. But if you take into consideration everything else that comes behind it and every other little caveat you got to add with it, then this is BS at the highest cost.
And then, the other big story of the day that we still have no word on is tomorrow, 9 a.m. is the deadline for the NFL to appeal that suspension of Deshaun Watson. And according to some of the reports that I heard this morning or this afternoon, the NFL is irate that this wasn't a full season. And I'm thinking to myself, the NFL is so freaking dumb. This is one of the first times that the NFL passed off the suspension to somebody else in a case like this.
Only to get it back.
I just don't understand why you wouldn't rule on it yourself then. If you are doing the investigation, you did your investigation, and you want the guy to have a year suspension, forget about the arbitrator. Don't pass it off to the judge. Rule it yourself.
But this goes back to kind of what we were talking about yesterday. This is a CYA move. I could be as mad as I want at the person who laid that down. They did it wrong. But, I didn't do anything. So it's an easy way to pass the buck. It's an easy way for them not to have to take credit for any of it. Because you know what the NFL wants? Deshaun Watson on the football field. You know what's good for ratings? Deshaun Watson on the football field. Not Deshaun Watson on the sideline. So, the NFL can say that they're upset, but it's like, they're not really upset. They just can hide behind this.
The people watching the NFL, the people supporting the NFL, the people that had a problem with what Deshaun Watson did, all of those into one bucket. Soon as you heard the owner of the Cleveland Browns announce, and talking about Mr. Haslam, announcing that they were about to pay Deshaun Watson $230 million in guaranteed money, you should have just knew what the situation was then, and you should have moved the hell forward. Because you know that Haslam is not offering $230 million guaranteed, the most money ever guaranteed in the history of the NFL, and it's going to be the most money guaranteed for a very long time, because every owner in the NFL, not named Haslam, is pissed with what he did trying to get Deshaun Watson. So that you'll never see another $230, at least for another 4 years. With that being said, you knew then that he knew he had already talked to Roger Goodell. They had already talked to their attorneys. They had already talked to everybody involved from the situation and said, worst case scenario. Well, worst case scenario, I mean, he's going to win in this court. He's going to win in that court. Said it's going to be an opinionated thing, an opinionated process. It's her word versus his word. And, nobody has anything negative to say about Deshaun Watson outside. Now it's a character type deal, character issue. He's a nice guy. What he put on display when he was at Clemson and in Houston before this, sweetheart, all that kind of stuff. You knew that this was going to be the case.
And you know what?
You knew it. Don't get mad now.
You know what? Ultimately, again, this is just the way it is. Sadly, too, by the way, if you have talent, if you provide a service to somebody that needs a service, in this case, the Cleveland Browns, you could get away with a lot of stuff. You can get away with a lot of stuff. And if Deshaun Watson wasn't as talented as he is, he'd probably never play in the NFL again. But he is one of the top 5, top 6 guys talent-wise in the NFL, so he gets away with a lot of extra leeway.
And it's not even about hardcore proof, because look at the Cleveland Browns with Kareem Hunt. I mean, you got video of him knocking his girl out, kicking her, and they were like, you know what, buddy, come aboard. We can win some ball games.
Because
Cleveland's got a culture issue a little bit.
They needed a running back.
They did. They needed somebody to back up Nick Chubb.
Yeah, they needed.
And honestly, I wasn't opposed if the Lions went after Kareem Hunt at that point too.
And here's another thing: if Deshaun Watson wins a Super Bowl in Cleveland, do you know who's not showing up to the parade because of the allegations? No one.
No one. Right.
Exactly.
No one.
It's one of those things now. It has their rule on sexual harassment and domestic violence been terrible? Of 100%. 100%. They have been terrible. They have been behind the coin. They have been dropping the ball for years upon years as it relates to that topic. This issue goes back to the 80s. There were quarterbacks hitting their wives in the 80s. We know this, and it's horrible. It's horrible, their stance on it. This situation, on the other hand, that he say, she say, is very different than watching Ray Rice knock his girlfriend out in the elevator.
But this is a he said, they say.
Yeah, but I don't buy that, because if you know, like, where I come from, like, a lot of people say a lot of stuff about us that has not been true. So I don't. That doesn't bother me. I don't care if 700 people say it. Okay, it can be 700 people lying their ass off.
Fair enough.
So that doesn't bother me.
Fair enough.
That doesn't bother me at all. He say, she say, and this it's an opinionated thing. It's just a tough one, especially knowing who the NFL is. Like, as soon as the NFL just got dropped in their lap, Oh, shit. Here we go again.
All right, we'll find out tomorrow when we do our show whether or not the NFL has reacted or responded or appealed to the Deshaun Watson. It is Maz's videos of the day next, but first, a message from Cintron.
Cintron is the official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings, and now Cintron has combined all 3 flavors of their delicious.
All 3 flavors?
Energize me with Cintron. That's right, all 3: the classic, the regular sugar-free, and then my favorite, the cranberry. They put them all in a box, 6 at a time. And guess what? You can pre-order it, limited edition 6-pack at CintronWorld.com/Red Wings. That's CintronWorld.com/Red Wings. Let's get energized, baby.
Energized.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
All summer long, the Monroe Street Midway is open in downtown Detroit. Enjoy basketball, roller skating, mini golf, art, live music, food trucks, and more. A fun, safe event for everyone ages 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com for more info. That is deckedoutdetroit.com.
Bedrock. Yeah, baby.
Monroe Street Midway.
Come on, I'm fired up today.
You ready to go play football, man?
I love a fired up Ryan.
We got to take you down to Allen Park right now, man.
Come on, coach.
Put
me in,
man.
coach.
If I put you in the game, what position are you playing?
Right now?
No, in your heyday.
Oh, running back. Strong safety.
You go strong safety?
Yeah.
Tail? Okay.
Never came out punt returner. Kick returner.
I don't know about all that. I put you in there. I put you in there safety though.
Yeah.
I think it's something there, safety. Put you a punt return, man. We had the worst average field starting position ever.
By the way, when's the last time you saw this guy? We got ESPN
he lost
in
some
the
weight.
studio. Joe Dumars.
It looks like he's lost weight.
Joe Dumars.
COVID probably scared him.
The NBA executive vice president and the head of basketball operations, Joe Dumars.
It's a good job for him. I think when he played the game, he played with an extreme level of respect and discipline. I think he was one of those guys that you always knew was a guy in the community. I think
Sportsmanship.
The
Joe Dumars Award.
100. The Joe Dumars Award. He took over for the Pistons, and what those guys did, they were very. For whatever you want to say about the Pistons, with the exception of one night, Pistons they were aggressive, but they were very well behaved.
I do hate how this has continued on between Joe Dumars and the Detroit Pistons.
There should be no Joe Dumars slander ever in this city. Ever. And I go back and forth with the heavyweights about this.
Slander is one thing.
Right.
But, because I think you have the ability as a fan to call it like you see it. I mean, when the Pistons had money and he went out and got Charlie V and Ben Gordon, that essentially ended. It was a bad move. You should be able to say it's a bad move. I think he was.
Ben Gordon wasn't. Charlie V was.
I think he was hamstrung towards the end because they were trying to sell it. But for the most part, everybody knows that now. What is your gripe with the people of Detroit?
If you have a gripe of anybody who's brought us 3 world championships,
his gripe to here.
I haven't heard that he has one with Detroit.
Well, he's got one with the Detroit Pistons. He never shows up to the reunions.
Well, I think because he was working for the Kings, and he's
I don't know about that stick. I don't think so. But anyway, time of the day we like to play Maz's videos of the day. Stick it.
And now it's time for Maz's videos of the day, only on the Woodward Sports Network.
Came out 10 years later?
Yeah.
I'd be pissed too.
I don't know, man. Just everybody love Joe Dumars.
Hey, everybody
he brought
love
us
everybody.
3 championships.
Semi-pro. Everybody love everybody.
That's true too. Love everybody, except for if you're being a whatever in the
Producer.
chat. We don't love that. So videos of the day today. I think I'm just going to start a segment called Videos with Swaggy.
There you go.
Every day
Very
this guy
good.
comes out with a sound clip. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, Jamal Williams, running back for the Detroit Lions. One of the best characters alive, not only in football, but on the planet. And here's what he's got to say about anime. If you ever want an autograph from Jamal Williams, here's how you get it.
People just giving me a whole bunch of anime stuff. I've been shared it. PSA announcement for anybody that's a Jamal fan. If you bring me anime stuff, I give you gloves and anything. You are my first priority. When people bring anime stuff, I know they understand me as a person. Now they don't just see me as a football player. So when you understand me as a person, you get more attention from me. So that's all.
It's cool.
Bring me some stuff, and I give you stuff. All right. Right here, they gave me some posters. I got them pop animation thingies. It's Naruto in here. I got Shikamaru from Naruto in there. Somebody gave me a little Pikachu Naruto, like a little thingy. It's so adorable. Like, I love all this stuff, man. Like, these fans be making it so great.
Our boy John McRown in the background there too, from Sports Illustrated, great guy.
Oh, yeah.
How do you not love that guy, man? See, I still watch anime. I remember when it first came out, though, with Dragon Ball Z back in the day, man. Every once in a while, like, it throws something on Netflix that you pick up on, whether it's One Hit Man, whether it's Bleach, Bakugan. You know, I'm just throwing out a couple. Naruto.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Well, your second video of the day, I just called this a walk-off. And you know what? I'll let the video do the speaking. These next four are funny, man.
4.
Yep.
Oh, no way.
I meant this real.
Can I see that again? Wait, no, that's
Look
all
at the
right.
couple just laughing at her too.
Let me see. Yeah, I see.
my
Okay,
God.
you guys have a good one. Bang.
Oh,
she hit her leg first.
She
You saw
did.
that?
I mean, she did
She
the
hit it all.
double.
Man.
Oh my God.
And if you ever come to the Woodward Sports Studios, like, there's a lot of glass around
Yes,
here, and
it's
people.
all glass.
I've seen it several times. There's
Yeah.
been some face prints on these glass.
I almost got once almost at the right before the
my
second
God.
conference room where the door is. Almost one time they got almost one thing.
Oh my God.
This next one I'm calling Dog Walk because, you know, dogs do what dogs do. And I love animals, so animal videos are always going to have a place in my heart. Let's look at this dog walk video. Watch him go up the stairs. Dip.
Oh, yeah, that's why. That's why them quads are firing like that. That's why the glutes and the hams are very strong on this dog.
My
Watch
God.
this. Let's get
That is great.
Animals are just so weird, right?
It looks like a bunny rabbit.
Right. Just hopping up. And then this one is
He's a little dog. He has
location,
He's got little legs. He
location.
couldn't really climb up there.
This scared the hell out of me, but yeah, location. Check this out.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
The kids, I think they planned that, but
Yeah.
I don't know,
Wow.
man. Isn't that scary?
Where the parents at?
Oh my gosh.
What?
Whoa. Right through the ladder.
First of all, where the hell are their parents at?
No kidding.
Second of
Get
all,
a better babysitter.
where the hell are their parents at?
I love this. So at least they're not inside on their damn phones,
That's
right?
true.
They're out there
Get
trying to
cracked
kill
in the
themselves
head.
like we used to do
Right.
as kids.
Oh yeah,
Cracked in
but
the head.
yeah,
Very good.
I didn't try to kill myself like that. Like, I don't know about that. I'd rather them go inside and play some video games rather than being paralyzed in Henry Ford.
Yeah, that's
Hell
what's
with
up.
that.
And then your last Maz's video of the day, all about flexibility. I don't know. This hurts me to watch. I'm one of the least flexible people you've ever seen in your life, but watch this chick.
Oh yes.
What degree do you think you could go to?
Not 12, not 1, not 2, not ma'am. Oh man. Oh, I can't.
Look at that.
Oh, thank you.
270 degree bend.
No. Can't do it.
Man. That's
Please.
And those are your Maz's
I
video of
wonder-
the day. I thought they were all pretty amazing
Yeah,
today,
dude,
man.
you're doing really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good, Stick.
I wonder what 270 degrees is like.
Tigers lose 4-1 to the Twins today. Michael Fulmer did pitch for the Twins against the Tigers today. One inning, one hit, one strikeout, no runs. So there you go. Braylon, get us out of here.
I was saying if, I was stretched
understand what you were saying.
Hey, man, another show. Look, man, you can tell we're getting excited. Ryan, Ermanni, myself, Fletch, Sam in the booth. Maz isn't here. We got Stick filling in. Everybody around here. The heavyweights, check them out. 5 to 7, they're coming on. They're going to give you the same information, but a different way. You got Big D Energy before us, 11 to 1. They coming with the heat. Neil Rule, my man, Darren McCarty. And then in the morning, you got the loudmouth himself. Adam Baydoun coming with the straight facts and the straight heat. I'm telling you, when Al Alavila finally leaves, it'll be because of Adam Baydoun put him in the hospital. Tell you like this, man. Tell a friend about us. Like us, because we're coming with the fun. We are the bottom line. Ryan and Ermanni out.
See ya.
Ready to go?